So today is our sixth session, but I'm going to be giving a quick overview of what we have covered. Since you guys are new to it, so I'm going to be covering a little bit basics also. All right. And then we have all the sessions recorded that we have done previously. So on your IIT Madras BS degree YouTube, so you guys can watch it also from there. But I'll try to make this session curated in a way so that it's not that new to you, so it's easily understandable. Don't worry. We'll just give like 3 4 5 minutes more maybe. Okay, I see we're already live on YouTube, so just giving a couple of more minutes for others to join in, and then we'll get started for today's session. So in this session, I'll also tell you some resources because you guys are taking it for the first time, and then you have what you call like you don't have that much of experience of cloud computing. So I will share a couple of more Microsoft resources with you, Microsoft Learn resources, so that you guys can sort of hover over there and learn more about it as well. All right. Plus, you can watch the sessions that we have done earlier. So I think that's going to be sufficient enough for you guys in case you want to dive deeper. Someone is asking what are the prerequisites to follow the session. So like ideally this is the sixth session of our AZ900 series at IIT, and it's actually the last session as well of the series. Having said that, I mean, if you have attended the previous sessions, then this one is going to be more understandable. Having said that, since I understand that most of you are attending it for the first time, and I'm sure a couple of them must have attended earlier as well, so it's a combination of both. So I'm going to be explaining in a way which helps you understand it, as much as possible, even if you're new to it. So, yeah. Towards the end of the session, I'm going to be taking Q&A as well. Today's session is going to be around 35 to 40 minutes, and then I'll devote last 20 minutes for question answers. If you have, like, if you guys have attended the previous sessions, you can ask me questions or related to it, or if you have general cloud computing, all of that stuff, questions you can ask me in the chat section. Okay, I'll take it up. And also, the people who are watching on YouTube can ask me the questions, and I'll pick it up from the YouTube live and I'll answer them. Someone is asking, can we watch the previous session? Yes, you can. So once the session is done, I don't have the links handy with me, but on the IITM BS degree official YouTube channel, so under the live section, you would be able to see the previously recorded live sessions. So those are available over there. All right, guys, I'm just giving like 2 more minutes or 1 more minute and then we'll get started, okay? Well, let's just get started because I think it's already 2 minutes in. And yeah, I'll just start with my introduction and all basic, and we'll let the others join in, all right? Just to be quick and just to be respectful of time. All right, so I'm sharing my screen. Please just let me know if it is up. Okay, are you guys able to see my screen? Just tell me on the chat section. All right, I do see thumbs up. Great. Thank you so much. Okay, great. So let's get started. So, as I mentioned, firstly, welcome to the sixth session of AZ 900 series that we are doing at IIT Madras. And by the way, wishing you all a very happy new year. I'm guessing that this would be your first session that you would be attending, technical session that you were attending in 2026. So, yeah, Happy New Year once again. So, today we are going to be discussing the monitoring of Azure resources, the monitoring aspect of it. How could you monitor your Azure resources and all of that stuff? All right. Um, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be covering, not covering, like I'll give you an overview literally of what we have done in the previous sessions so that you get some idea as to where are we directing today and what we have covered previously. So I think that's something that we're going to follow. I do see a couple of questions coming on the chat section. I'm going to be taking it up towards the end, all right? I'll answer all your questions, don't worry. All right, a little about myself for the people who are attending for the first time. So, hey, I am Navika Chada, and professionally, I am working as an Azure cloud engineer. And I'm also a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional in Azure. This is my third consecutive year going on. And I have been like into all of this, like I would say like tech communities has been an integral part of my journey. And I'm really passionate about sharing my knowledge, speaking at events, conferences, judging hackathons, running series, and stuff, and podcasts and stuff like that. And I've got some great opportunities to speak at Ignite, judge Microsoft Imagine Cup Junior, mentor some hackathons like Tech Together at Seattle. And that's a little bit about what I usually do. My tech stack is Azure and literally everything related to it. That's my day to day of working. So literally, Azure is my area of expertise in a way. And in fact, even I have completed my diploma in programming from IIT Madras recently. And yeah, in fact, received my certificate degree recently. So yeah, a proud moment. And apart from that, I am also very passionate about using technology for a good cause, and I've been into empowering visually impaired students and asset attack survivors with technology as well. And for the work that I have done, I'm, I've been my work has been recognized with India Book of Record and America Spirit of Community World Book of Record and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself. Um, Feel free to connect with me. This is my LinkedIn, Navika Chowda. You can just search on it. So feel free to connect with me. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me there as well. In case after math you get any questions after the session. And then here's my YouTube. So I keep on doing a lot of podcast tech chat with Navika for Azure related stuff. So feel free to check out the content over there if that adds up to your knowledge. I'll be more than happy. Yeah. So that's if you would like to take a screenshot or something of this, you can. I'll just stay on this slide for the next 5 seconds and then I'll move forward. All right, I'm moving forward, guys. Um, okay, setting up the agenda for today. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing a quick recap as we always do of the previous sessions. I'll tell you the importance of. So today, the whole agenda is how you monitor your Azure resources, right? In general, my focus would be more on the compute infrastructure that we have covered in the previous session. So don't worry, I'll share all of those things with you. These terminologies are like really new to you. Then we're going to be looking at some monitoring tools like Azure Monitor, within that log analytics and app insights, and Azure Service Health. Right now, it's very new to you, the terms, but don't worry, you're going to understand all of it towards the end of the session. Moving forward, a little bit about the series that we have been doing. So, Microsoft Azure Fundamentals is basically AZ 900, which is an exam by Microsoft. Um, and it is for the, as the name suggests, it's for Azure Fundamentals. So, anyone who gets started with a journey on Azure, cloud computing. So, AZ 900 is the fundamental examination that you can take as a certification, which helps you get started in your Azure journey. As a part of that, like not as a part of that, but like that is a 900. So what we are doing in these series, we are trying to give you like cover the major course of it, all right, in the AZ 900 series that we are doing at IIT Madras. So we have had, today's the sixth session. We have had six sessions so far. All of these sessions would be available on your IT Madras BS Degree Online YouTube channel as well. They have been live streamed. So in case you have missed it, highly recommend you guys to go over there and have a look at it, and then reach out to me if you have any questions. Okay. So do not worry. Even though this is the last session of the series, I'm still there, and we're going to be having one more session, not related to Azure, but not related to AZ 900, but it's going to be a very interesting session. So we're going to be having one, all right? So don't worry about that. But yeah, you can feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. So, five sessions we have covered. We started off with cloud concepts, Azure architecture, storage, identity access management, and resource management. And today we're discussing about monitoring. And this covers almost major part of your AZ 900 course. All right, and then you can study, and then you can, if you want, you can apply for the exam. Like you can register for the exam, and you can sit for it as well if interested. All right, now quick recap of what we have done so far. So our first session was all about introduction to cloud and Azure. So we have covered what is cloud computing, what is Azure. For those who are new, so cloud computing is basically like delivery of compute services over the internet. All right. So the best part of cloud computing is that you don't have to literally buy as such anything. You have to, it goes on a pay as you go model. Okay. So that means a consumption based model. That means you pay only for the resources that you're using. That is what pay as you go model means. And that is one of the highest, one of the most like biggest benefit of using, of going in for cloud. Apart from that, there are many other benefits of cloud computing, like you have flexibility, you have scalability, you have what you call elasticity, it is global, it is secure, it is available, and all of those terminologies. All right. Obviously, not going into each one of those right now because then it's going to be, we have done it already in dedicated sessions. But I'm just giving you a quick, what do you call, outline of what we have done. And similarly, you have different cloud computing platforms. One of the one that we are discussing in these series is Azure, which is a cloud computing platform by Microsoft. All right, where Microsoft is the cloud provider and Azure is the cloud platform. In the second session, we dived into Azure Compute Services. So we discussed about. I give you a quick overview of how Azure Portal works. If you have missed that, don't worry, I'll do it again today. We created virtual machines. Okay, we worked on we hosted a website on the virtual machine and all of that stuff. In case you guys would like I know we have done all the demos, okay, but in case you would like to do some practical stuff, so there is a way you can do that. You can go in for Azure for Students, search on the net, on internet, search for Azure for Students, with your what do you call education email ID, whatever it is, and try to see if you get Azure for Students credits, free credits. Okay. Once you get those, then you can also perform those demos side by side what I have done in the previous sessions. In case you're interested to do that, I highly recommend you guys to do it if you want to dive deeper into all of this stuff. All right. Then in third session we did Azure storage. So we discussed different type of storage options. Then we did hands-on demo. We created storage account. We did blob storage, file storage. We created shareable drives and all of that stuff. Then second last session we just discussed about identity and access management. How do we different ways to authenticate? How do we access the resources on Azure? What are the best security options and all of that stuff. Last session was about deploying your resources to Azure. So different ways how you can deploy your resources. I discussed, oops, it is ARM templates. Sorry. Yeah, so we discussed through ARM templates, PowerShell, how do you code an IAC infrastructure as a cloud and sorry, infrastructure as a code, and how do you deploy your resources via the IAC manner. All of this stuff. Okay, I'm not going much deeper into it right now because everything has been covered very nicely, very detailed way. Okay, so since we have covered all of this, the last topic that is left is Azure monitoring. So yes, we have created resources. I've created a virtual machine storage account. You have n number of more resources that you can create, like Azure App Service and all. But the question comes, okay, I have the resources created, but how do I monitor them? And why do I monitor the resources on Azure? So, okay, this is actually like just general basic knowledge. Like, why do you think we should be doing monitoring of any resources on cloud on Azure? Any answers on the chat section? Why should we monitor resources on Azure? Tell me. Yes, I do see one. Mm-hmm. Correct. Correct. Good, Aviral. Harlev. Yes. Yes. Very good. Mm-hmm. Wow. Good. Nice answers. Great. Um, I'm just sorry, scrolling down the chat. Okay, so quite a few of you actually. Um, okay, all right. So one second. So now exactly to what you guys have most of you have answered. Let's just compile all of those points and let's understand the importance of monitoring your resources on Azure. Okay. So the very first reason is that you have to ensure that your resources are up and running. Okay. Um, if you are, can you please mute yourself? I think someone is unmuted. So obviously, if you created your resources, so you also have to ensure that they're up and running. Let's suppose if you have hypothetical, okay, if you have some website that you're hosting on your one of the Azure resource app service, or let's suppose you have virtual machine, you're running your web page, website, whatsoever. You have to also ensure that it is up and running, right? So to ensure that it is up and running, to check its performance, it's very important to monitor the performance of your resources. Okay, I've set it to a certain SKU. I have to get back and have to check that how is it performing on it, right? If you want to look into logs, you want to troubleshoot if you are encountering certain issues with your resource. Okay, you want to troubleshoot if there's certain amount of latency, if there is a certain amount of issues that you're facing, you want to troubleshoot, you will have to look into the logs. So these are a few reasons why you have to monitor your Azure infrastructure. Okay, next. Now there are different ways to monitor your Azure infrastructure. All right. So the very first that we start with is Azure Monitor. All right. One second, guys, please. I'm also just checking side by side if it is everything is streaming good on live. Yep. Okay. So the very first when we talk about monitoring tools on Azure, the very first one that actually comes up is Azure Monitor. So Azure Monitor is basically, I would say, a unified monitoring tool or a service which actually collects, analyzes, and acts on the telemetry data from the applications and infrastructure. All right. So these three things are important: collects, analyzes, and acts. Give you a better overview of it. See, this is how your this is a chart actually that's up there also on Microsoft Learn. So this is your Azure monitor. How it typically works is here are your infrastructure workloads Azure platform. So what it actually does, it collects the data. So first important capability of it is data collection in form of metrics, logs, traces. Metrics could be a CPU percentage and all, logs and your traces. So it collects your data, right? These three ways. And then what does it does, or what does it do, sorry? Um, these five different things, okay? It helps you visualize. It pushes, like, then you have your experiences, so you have virtual machines, application insights. It helps you visualize your data. All right, it helps you analyze. So like log analytics, this is something that we'll see today. We'll also see application insights. It helps you respond. So let's suppose if, I want to set some alerts, for example, if, okay, a virtual machine is using more than 80% and I want that to be alerted to me if my VM is using more than 80% of CPU. So alerts can be set up, and then you can also integrate it with logic apps, with certain APIs, with event sub and all. So this is like a whole tableau format of typically how Azure Monitor works. All right. So a couple of core components of it. First is logs. So when I say logs, this basically means it's like traced data or event detailed events, okay, which can be queried via KQL queries. We'll just discuss that in a few minutes. Then we have metrics, which basically contains the numeric values in a way, which is your CPU usage, memory, etc. See, all of that can be done in the way of KQL. And as an example, we'll take a virtual machine as a reference and we'll try to understand what are the different things that we can do on a virtual machine. All right. So, once again, guys, sorry, I'm just side by side also seeing the YouTube, um, because I see there are a couple of students over there as well, so that they're not missing on anything. Yeah. All right. So, now, what are the different things you can do with KQL? So the first one is you can check for failed requests. Okay, so for example, if there are certain failed requests to my virtual machine or to my app service, I can check that via KQL. I can check the usage of my resource, how much is being used. If it isn't being used that much, I can scale it down. If it is being used beyond than what I've put, or my performance is very low, I can scale it up. But how will I get to know about all of these things, right? So that happens with your queries. So usage, you can check for any errors, if any. If you're running an application of yours and it is giving certain errors, so you can actually log it and you can check for errors, okay, and then you can check for certain records if need be. All right. Let me go forward, and I have a couple of screenshots that will help you understand this better. So, for example, if I want to check the heartbeat of my virtual machine, so for example, if I want to check that, I want to check the status of it. What is the current status of my virtual machine? So, this is the KQL query that we can use for it. So there are like multiple things that we can do, but this is one of that. So, we just need to summarize the last scene, and we sort of filter it by computer, and then we have to check. If I want to check, like, for example, what's the last scene less than 5 minutes, whether it is offline or online, I'll run this query and I'll get the result. All right, so this is my virtual machine name, this is the computer, this is last scene, and the status is online. Okay, so all of these things you can do with the help of KQL. I've put screenshots over here. So first one is for status check, and the other one is for memory availability. Similarly, if I want to check the memory of my virtual machine, how does it look? Okay, I want to check the time chart. So this is how I'll do. I didn't get any results particularly for it because my virtual machine was very new. I had recently created. Having said that, if you're performing, multiple actions on your virtual machine and also, you will get results for such queries. All right. This is how KQL query works. I've already shown you how heartbeat count, that is all activities, example that are taking place on your virtual machine, so you can figure that out. Now let me show you as to, I'll give you a demo, for example, so that it will help you understand a bit more better. So, we have already discussed about virtual machines. Let me do a little bit for Azure storage account, okay? And let's see how it works. Okay. So, now I know many of, like, couple of you said that you are sort of attending this for the first time. So this is your Azure portal, portal.azure.com. Okay. Once you get the credits for your Azure, you would be able to access your Azure portal. So this is how it typically looks like. I'm giving you a quick 5 minutes overview before I actually get into the example that I'm wanting. So this is my Azure portal, all right. And if I want to create any resource, I can click here. I can create resources, whatever I want to. Different ways of creating resource. Then here are my different categories, all right. And within each categories, I have different services. So I go here, all services. These are different categories, and these are the different services.
वो ईमेल किया भाई पड़ी हूँ पासवर्ड
All
बोल
right.
जाइए रिसेट करो
I think someone has unmuted themselves. Can you please mute? All right. So this is how these are the different type of services. All right. You can, it's like plethora of services. Okay. Um, Whenever you create any resource on Azure, so literally everything boils down to a resource on Azure. Okay. So it's like that core building block of Azure is a resource. So someone wants to know what is a resource. So if I talk about a virtual machine, a storage account, all of these are resources on Azure. So even log analytics for that matter is a resource on Azure. So whenever you create any resource, the very first thing that you will do is you have to create a resource group. So for example, I have this created, okay, and within this you deploy your resources like a virtual machine, vnets and stuff like that. Okay, it's easy. So it's a matter of few clicks that you can end up deploying your resources on Azure. Literally your VM can be deployed within 5 minutes or maybe less than that. Like I'll take 5 minutes if I'll show you. Else, if I were to deploy, I'll do it. All right. So that's how your resources work on Azure. Guys, can you please mute yourself? I think Arya is unmuted. Please mute yourself. Can we mute? Mm, all right. Great. So thank you. So that's how it typically works. So you have your subscription, then you have your resource group, and then you deploy your resources within. This is all covered in the second lecture of the series. Okay, you can go and watch it. Now, what I was telling you was, for example, this is my storage account that I have. I don't know, I have it in, all right, which I have, must have created. See, this is within this particular resource group. I scroll it down and I go to log section of it, all right. This. I've already connected the storage account to my log analytics. And now it's you can do multiple things on the resource group on this resource. Okay, for example, if I want to sh- see if there are any anonymous requests that have been made to my storage account, so I can literally run this. I'm sure the answer is going to be none because I haven't used this resource as much, but still, let's run and see. See, this is the query. All right, this is the query which says I'm running this query on the storage blobs, and here I'm saying anything that's more than 3 days, and if there is any anonymous authentication type, please tell me what are those in terms of these different fields. All right, because as I said, this is a very like storage account which haven't been used at all. It's a very raw storage account, so there aren't any activities made on it. Henceforth, there are no results for it. However, if there would have been any activities, I'm sure you would have seen the results over here. All right. Let's try a couple of other things. For example, if I want to see that if there have been any failure or successes on my storage account. So how to do that? So this is the KQL query for it, for example, wherein I'm saying just summarize my success counts and failure counts on the storage account, which I am try- asking them to understand with the status code. So if I pick this query and I run this, Again, I don't think there going to be any failure. Yeah, no failure, no success. But see, this is how it comes. So it's showing 0, 0. Had there been any, it would have shown that number. There is also an option of visualizing whatever you are sort of entering over here. There is a section of chart. So currently, as you can see, this is a plain chart. You can format the chart as well if need be. Okay, but currently as such, because there aren't any bigger values, so um nothing major is going to come. But yeah, you can change the chart types and all also from here if need be. All right, so this is a way. Then let's suppose if I want that, okay, tell me what are the type of transactions that have been made on my storage account. So what does transaction means? That means if there has been a read, write operations, all of that stuff. So this is the query for it. And if I run this again, I doubt there's going to be any answer. Yeah, no transactions have been made. That means there have been no reading, no writing, nothing on the storage account. Had there been any, then it would have been reflected over here. Okay, and then for example, if I say that, okay, tell me if tell me the different operations that have been performed on my storage account. So again, I have this. I run it, and I'm going to be seeing the answer over here. So those type of multiple things that you want to do, else how will you find it? There's a different, different ways of doing it, but this is the easiest to log into your storage account or your whatever XYZ different resources that you've deployed, and you can query your logs. Okay, so this is how KQL query typically works. And I think its syntax is also pretty simple, two, three, 4 lines, and you literally get your result. Um, all right. So this is how it works on the storage account, and for the virtual machine, I've already shown a couple of screenshots. Going next is your. So we have spoken about Azure Monitor. It has Azure. It has log analytics as a part of it. And actually, let me do one thing. Let me go to application insights. Then I'll come to service health towards the end. Okay. So if you recall my this, why am I not able to presentation mode? So if you recall this, right? If you recall this particular chart that I showed you, so you have application insights, you have log analytics. So we have covered this. The next that I'm going to be showing you is application insights. All right. So now oops, what are application insights per se? If you want to understand that, one second, guys. So just come. So application insights is again one of, I would say, one of the most important monitoring tools in Azure, and this is specific. This is like, it's like an application performance monitoring, okay, which monitors the performance, gives you the user insights. Okay, it helps you in monitoring the availability. So to check that how long is your resource available. For example, your web app service is available. If you have that production running on your web app service, you need to be very sure of its availability, right? That it is being, if your app is being used by users, let's suppose, if it is public, it is being used by public. So you need to ensure that it is up and running. So check the availability. Usage of the application, again, what we just discussed in the previous slides. So all of that stuff. So basically, it provides you deep visibility of your web apps, API, services, and all of that stuff. Okay, if I talk a little bit about its capabilities, so it basically helps you in the telemetry collection. When I talk about telemetry collection, I typically mean your requests, your dependency, your exceptions. It helps in real time performance monitoring and tracking what is happening exactly, what are the time frame, the time duration, all of that is real time, and you can actually monitor that, and that's one of the major benefits. Then it has distributed tracing across microservices. It helps you with anomaly detections, smart detections of anomaly, rather, I would say. If there's a sudden rise or drop in something, those are anomalies. That's the meaning of anomalies, right? It helps you detect those. And if there are any type of custom events or metrics, with insights, it provides you with that. So those are a couple of key capabilities of application insights. If I talk a little bit about its data collection or data types, so what does it do? The first one is requests. So any type of incoming HTTP calls to your app, that's one. Dependencies, like if you have database connections with your web app service, that's where it have a look on. Then you have exceptions. If you have any errors, if you have any traces, it looks into that as well. Then obviously users, page views and all. And metrics, if you have your CPU, memory, response times, all of those things are also covered under this. Now, let's talk a little bit about integration of App Insights with the Azure App Services. So, you have a resource known as Azure App Service, which basically aids in running your applications in Azure. So, now the next topic that I wanted to cover over here is what are the common use cases if I integrate my App Insights with my app service. So, what are the common use cases of it? So, definitely the first one is performance monitoring. It helps you in tracking your requests, your response times, and all of that stuff. If there's any slow endpoints, it helps you in tracking that. Um, Second one is your error tracking. Okay, so if there has been any error encountered, all right, it'll automatically capture that. It'll also, under error tracking, it'll also capture your unhandled exceptions. All right. Um, Third is analysis. So analysis literally includes everything, which includes your analysis of the app, what are the insights, UX improvements, and all of that. And then you have tracking availability, which I've already mentioned. So if you integrate your app insights, which is a very good practice with your web app service, then these are the different type of things that you can do. There are more things that you can do, but I've just mentioned the major ones. All right. One thing that we actually wanted to cover was one more when we talk about monitoring your tools. One important topic is Azure Service Health. So Azure Service Health is basically a tool, or like, yeah, a tool in a way you can say, or a service within Azure which basically helps you keep informed about the health of your resources and in general as well. So there are key capabilities of it. Is firstly, it helps you know what you're the Azure status, generally, public view basically of the overall health of Azure services across all the regions. So if there is any widespread outage or any type of incidents, you can check that out. Secondly, it helps you understand the service health. So as I showed you, if you recall, in that portal there are multiple services in Azure, right? So if there is any service that is down, what is the health of it? If there's any latency issues, it depicts that over here. And then it also notifies you about your resource health, the ones that you have deployed. So for example, the VM that I have deployed, the web app service that I have deployed, the storage account that I have deployed, it helps me understand and focus on the health of my individual customized resources as well. Okay, so it lets me know if my resources are available or they are not available and all of that stuff. So Azure Service Health is again like one of the good monitoring tools. Then you also have Azure Advisor. That's also, it gives you recommendations and all of that stuff on your resources and how you can optimize it. So these are a couple of monitoring tools that I wanted to cover, because creating your infrastructure or resources on Azure is one thing, but then keeping it up and running and monitoring it, that is also equally important. And therefore, monitoring the performance is a very important pillar of your Azure infrastructure. All right, guys. So this was one of the topics that I wanted to cover, and I think we've covered everything. Yep. This brings us towards the end. So let me just quickly summarize. You have Azure Monitor. You have, within Monitor we have multiple things. I've covered log analytics and what else did we cover? App Insights. Then we had Azure Service Health, and we have Azure Advisor, and all of this stuff. That's how you can actually monitor your resources on Azure. We also covered the KQL queries. That was pretty much it. I've kept it short purposely because I know today is the last session, and I want to now open the chats for Q&A. And first, tell me, do you understand this? Like, is there any questions that you have or anything of that sort? Let me know concerning to today's. Um, Great. And guys, when you actually do it by yourself, right? Like, let me just stop sharing. Yeah. So when you actually start doing practicals by yourself, right? That's when you will actually play around with it more, and you'll understand its depth as well. But let me just see the questions if we have any on the. Okay, so I'm just checking on the YouTube. Okay, so feel free to ask me questions. We have 20 minutes almost. And if you have questions related to this, or you have any general questions, feel free to ask me, like related to cloud and all. I'll be more than happy to answer it. Tell me, guys, any questions?
Ma'am, I have one question. Am I
Yeah.
audible?
Yeah, like feel free to send it on the chat as well. But yeah, like I prefer chats, but yeah,
Okay,
ask.
that's not a problem. I'll write it on the chat.
That's fine now that you've unmuted. That's fine.
Actually, I joined late, so I was not aware of the rules here. Yeah.
No,
Uh,
that's fine. Yeah, tell me.
So the thing is that I am preparing for this AZ 900 right now.
Mm-hmm.
I am
Mm-hmm.
also preparing for DP 100, DP 900,
All
and
right.
AI 900 simultaneously. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I target to my target is to get all these certifications along with PL 300 within 45 days. Is that a realistic target, or it's a very far-fetched thing to do?
Abhishek, totally depends on how you have curated your plan. Honestly, it really depends from person to person how much time can you devote, and it's not just about clearing the certifications. It's also about, I would say, um, having good amount of knowledge in what you are sitting for the exam.
Uh,
So getting the certification is one thing, but also gaining that knowledge is another, right? Both things, I would say, go hand in hand. um, I would say you can focus on one, right? And then simultaneously go on to the other one. But like answering your question, if it is realistic or not, I like there's nothing impossible. So I really don't know. What's your background in cloud? I mean, how much knowledgeable you are in cloud
so
and
I
Azure?
have some basic knowledge of cloud and also Power BI, but I have never appeared for these certification exams so far.
So these are fundamentals. I mean, the one that we're doing is for ESA 900. So, I mean, if you already have knowledge, and of course, if you study for the course rigorously, it's not that that tough to crack, I would say. But I would still recommend, like, just go one by one, like maybe focus on EZ 900, because it's like it depends. Are you just getting the certifications just to get started with, or if is your goal to get into a particular field in Azure, like you want to get into cloud engineering, network engineer, or infrastructure engineer, ML engineer? So like, how are you looking at it? That also is a question.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know if I answered your question, but it really depends on you how fast are you able to crack your
No,
certifications.
you did
So
answer in a way.
yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, no worries. Okay, so I do see a couple of questions. So Vinod is asking, can you tell a bit about KQL? So KQL is a query language, basically, Vinod, which we use in log analytics to query our logs. All right, so that is a way how you query your logs. KQL is that query. It's like a query language, and through that you can actually query your logs, and then look into the traces, logs, monitoring factors of it, etc. So it's nothing but a KQL query is a language which helps you query your logs, specifically if I talk about log analytics. Ma'am, do you have links of your previous sessions? I don't have them handy, but as I said, it is available on IIT MBS degree online live section out there, and yeah, you can have a look. It's there. I don't have it handy. Sorry. Um, Someone is asking, is there is any particular roadmap? Roadmap for what? Roadmap for. Okay, are you guys interested in any like cloud engineering roadmap sort of a thing? You want to know that in general, like just taking a feedback from you, like how to become a cloud engineer, what are the prerequisites and all. Because if need be, then I can check with the IIT team, and if possible, we can try to have a session around it. Yeah, just let me know. Like, I want everyone's answer so that we know that, okay, great. So I do see a couple of people interested in that. Because knowing the roadmap for cloud engineer is like altogether or combine it with cloud and Azure. So that's one of the certifications I'll recommend you to take. That is AI 900. Um, yeah. Strengthen your profile in general. I would say, like, this is a very general answer that I'm giving. I mean, whenever we talk about strengthening our profile or strengthening our resume, one of the things that I truly believe is like having some hands-on projects and all right, ready you've worked on, so have that on your resume, so that, or any practical things which support what you have written on your
But
resume.
hi,
I think someone is unmuted. Aman. All right. Let me just see a couple of questions on the stream, live stream as well. No problem, that's fine, Aman. Um, I do see many comments, some comments on the chat section as well, who say that they're also looking for some roadmaps. So yeah, we'll see if we can have that up as a dedicated session. But for the people who are like really interested in getting into the Azure cloud, and I would recommend you guys to go through the recordings that we have done. I mean, they've been really detailed. We have digged really into it, and I've ensured that every session is it has a demo associated with it. So all of that stuff, so I would really recommend you guys to go through it, and if you have any questions, do reach out to me, because I think cloud is one of the most, I would say, what do you call, like one of the most in demand tech stack in the industry right now, and because of, definitely because of the benefits that it is offering, right? Most of the companies are now migrating their on-prem infrastructure to cloud because of so many benefits that it is offering, and that definitely, I think it's one of the biggest reasons for for you guys, or for the techies, to sort of have knowledge of cloud computing as well, because literally everything is now moving into cloud in a way. Someone is asking, the sessions are enough to clear AZ 900 certification. These sessions are a good support to make you understand what AZ 900 course is all about and the topic within it. Having said that, you will have to do simultaneous self study for sure in order to prepare for the exam. But these sessions will definitely clear your concept for sure. So someone is asking, if we are to So actually, I did show Rohit as to how you can implement. These are log analytics that you can simply create. Okay, let me just. I did show this. Let me real quick show it again. If you have any, so I hope my screen is up. So just give me a yes in the chat so that I know. So I did show the process. Actually, I'll show it once again as to how did I do this. So you have this log analytics. All right. So you have log analytics, all right, which is a resource on Azure. So you can actually search for it like this. Azure log Azure log analytics workspace. And then you click on create and then you can create this. All right. Simple, nothing. You just have to select the resource group. You have to name whatever the name is, name it please properly, and you have to review and create it. Once the your log analytics workspace is created, so I created this which I showed you guys, and then once this is created you can sort of connect this to your respective storage account, I mean respective resource. For example, I did create connected with my storage account, which is this one, and now that I have that connected, I can check that also from here, diagnostic. You will be able to see the log analytic workspace, and then you can simply come over here and you can run your queries. And that's it. Someone is asking that. No, so this is basically just a monitoring tool, right? On the top of your resource. So you don't have like, this is just a read only. KQL queries are like read only. So whatever is in is therein, we just query through the log analytic workspace through the KQL query. Okay. So there are no as such changes made to your resource. I hope I've answered your question. All right. Uh, One question that I've received is, do we have completed a course on UBID by you, ma'am? Aman, are you referring to? So there is this ASA 900 that we have completed on IIT itself. So you have those, it's like a course in a way only, which we have uh, done for IIT Madras students. So it is there on the YouTube. So it's like in a way you can consider that as a course only that has been covered. Um, so one question that I received is from Kabir. So, like these sessions are just focused on Azure, to be honest. So we're just discussing about Azure, and I've told you the monitoring services that we have and the idea that it serves, the purpose that it serves. So if you're familiar with that, and then you can maybe do that comparison by yourself. But yeah, I mean, this is very very focused on Azure. Okay. Okay, so Abhishek is asking, are Microsoft Learn modules and practice tests sufficient? Yeah, I'll tell you one thing, Abhishek. So first thing first, okay, I had to share that. Your Microsoft, for the people who don't know, the Microsoft Learn modules on AZ 900, definitely go through it because it contains the latest course, your latest whatever what you call modules within it, learning paths. So definitely go through it. And once you have done that, then get into the practical stuff of it, hands on also as much as possible, so that you know how it works. Do these two things, and then yeah, I think if you have a good knowledge of, you should be clear of what you are studying. Okay, if I think that's clear, then yeah, I think that is sufficient enough. But definitely some self study as well, okay, along with the modules. Learn modules, do some self study, hands on. I think that should be sufficient enough. I hope I answered your questions. I'm just seeing some questions on the. Any other question, guys? Anyone has? Tell me. We have 2, 3, 5 more minutes. I don't think so. I've missed out any question, right? I've answered all the questions. I think I haven't missed any question. I've taken up all the questions. And even if you have any other questions, yeah. Abhishek, one last question. How difficult is an associate certification exam in comparison with the fundamental certification? Um, Difficult. See, it requires, um, it requires good hands-on knowledge. I would say your associate like certifications. You should be having, like for example, if I talk about any certification above fundamentals. So I would definitely, even fundamentals, I would say you should be having a good, strong hands-on knowledge, because if you have that, then you know that how things work practically, right? You know the small here or there things and all. So I would say that is important. If you have that knowledge, then I don't think so anything is tough in a way. So yeah. I mean, definitely, if it is greater than fundamentals, then obviously it's level high, but it's not that tough. Also, if you have your roots are strong, then I don't think so. Your core knowledge is strong in terms of roots. I don't think so. It's that tough. Is asking, ma'am, can we have Azure Microsoft playlist? I don't know if we have the playlist. I would need to check. Swati, ma'am, are you there by any chance, or anyone from IIT? I can maybe okay, so I'll just maybe check with the IITM team if we can have a dedicated playlist. I don't know if that's a possibility or not. If yes, I'll have a word with them. If not, then you can search for the dedicated dedicated sessions. All right, great then, guys. This brings us to the end of our session 6, and also in a way to the end of the AZ 900 series. And thank you so much for attending. And I really hope that you found it insightful. And feel free to reach out to me directly also on LinkedIn if you have any questions. And yeah, we're going to be having one session soon, which is not going to be AZ 900. It's going to be another one, which will be up soon. So yeah, we might see each other there again. So do attend. You will get the notification from the side of IIT. Yeah, thank you so much. I hope it was educational. And thank you once again to the entire IITM team for conducting these and for this great opportunity. It was a pleasure being here. And yes, thank you so much once again. All right, so can we just end the session? Thank you. All right, guys, I think we are done. We can just wrap up the session. Thank you once again. And if there's anything from the IIT, anyone from the IITM team, we can stop the live stream as well. Great. Thank you so much.